Hello, I will be going over assignment 3, arrays and functions. Before I begin, I'm going to go over a few of the components I have here on my breadboard. This upper push button here is PB1, this lower one is PB2, and then I have all 4 of my LEDs, red, yellow, green, and blue. I start off here in my baseline mode. All LEDs turn on one at a time. LEDs stay on as the sequence builds. After all 4 are on, I pause for 1 second, and then I turn all LEDs off. As we can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, pause for a full second, and then they turn off and repeat. Our next mode is fast mode, and this requires PB1 to be held. This runs the same sequence but faster, 100 milliseconds between each LED turning on, and then 0.5 second pause after all LEDs are on. So I'll hold PB1, and we can see it runs much faster, holds for half a second at the end, and then repeats. Next, I have my manual mode. This requires PB2 to be pressed. It has all LEDs turn off, no matter where they're at in the sequence. The system enters a manual stepping mode, and then each press of PB1 advances 1 LED. So I'll go and press PB2, and we can see that all my LEDs shut off. And then each press of PB1 advances my light 1 at a time. Now, to return to baseline, PB2 is pressed again, and then it resumes the baseline sequence. So I'll press PB2, and it picks up from where I'm at and resumes the baseline sequence. Now, my arrays I use for all 4 of my LEDs here. I put these LEDs into the array because when I call them in my functions, I'm able to cycle through each one in order. So in my indexes, my red is my 0, yellow is 1, green is 2, blue is 3. And my functions are called down at the bottom of my code here. I have LEDs low, slow blink, fast blink, manual blink. Each of these controls an integer that I placed inside of my LED pins array that I named I. And each time it sets 1 LED pin high, it advances the integer I and then returns it to the baseline program to run the main sequence of code and check for any updates in inputs. The modes are controlled by a majority of if statements. Up top, these first 2 blocks here sets a state change. This first one will determine when PB2 is pressed, and it will change LED state to the opposite of LED state, and that being high or low determines whether or not I'm in automatic or manual mode. We can see just below here that if LED state equals low, then it runs what this is my automatic functions. Next, I have the block that tells my system to reset all LEDs when I push PB2 from the manual mode. This also allows it to maintain all LEDs on when I enter, it maintains all LEDs on when I'm leaving manual mode, but it turns all of them off when I'm entering. Next is the functions. I call them into here. So when let's stay equals low, if PB1 is low, which is its normal state here, I just call my normal slow blink function. And once the integer I, which is in that array, hits my pin sequence, which equals the number of pins I have, it goes into delays and then shuts all LEDs off and repeats for as long as LED state is low and PB1 is low, meaning that PB2 hasn't been pressed and PB1 is not pressed. Below here, I also have PB1 high. This turns it into the fast blink mode. And again, it calls integer I all throughout to constantly update that array. Lower down, once we hit PB2 and we've entered our manual mode, it sees that LED state has changed to high, and then it calls our manual blink function and then turns it off again once we've hit our 4 LED value. I can go into more depth here on my functions. LEDs low. This is just a simple function that resets all my LEDs to low and then passes the 0 back to my integer I into LED pins. And then slow blink, fast blink are almost the same functions, just with different blink intervals. They check for a time against a hardware clock that is built into the Arduino, and it checks that. Once that has been met, this turns high, it increments I, resets my time count, and then passes I back to the main program. Same with fast blink, just with a shorter interval time. Manual blink is much simpler. I do have a delay here just for button debouncing. I did try to go a little bit lower than 200, but found that sometimes I would push the button and 2 LEDs would turn on at a time. 200 seemed to be about the point where I could get it pretty consistent. And then it would just set LED pins I high, advance I, send it back to my main blocks here, where once I equals the pin sequence, they all shut off.